In this quick tutorial, quick video guide, we're going to see how we can set up and manage procedural texture or procedural maps in Blender. This is an option that you can use when you are creating materials instead of using image texture. So I'm just going to quickly start a new file here so we can start from the beginning all together, and also going to activate some screencast keys so you can see what I'm doing here with my mouse and my keys. So if you find this difficult, you probably want to see previous guides talking about materials and texture. And also, if you want, there is a complete video course in Blender for you. And in the channel, you will also find other video guides and video courses on 3D. So the first thing we're going to do here is switch to the shading interface. So on the top part, we have the 3D view where we can see the material. And on the bottom part, we have the editor. Editor is really important when you work with materials in Blender. So we have an output node right here, and then we have a central node which represents our material central core. So if I select this cube and I go here and I go to the material tab on the right, and I just deselect, just gonna press minus. So this is deleting essentially. So right now I don't have any material, but every time I click on the new or on the plus, I'm gonna create a new one. And it's gonna have this setup right here. So this is kind of the default setup. Now, at the moment, this is a blank material, doesn't have any texture. To add a texture, we can do it from here using this yellow circle, or we can go here on the panel on the right. Now remember to activate the use nodes so that you can use extra channels, extra nodes for the material. And you can see there is also here a little yellow circle. So we're going to click here, and you can see that we have different inputs that we can use. And also we have nodes to create colors, so simple colors, or also if you want to invert the color, or you have also converter. So these are used for different purposes. What we're gonna see here is the texture column. So when you use images like pictures and things and that that you find on the web, you can use the environment if you're doing an environment, or you can use the image texture. If you use bricks texture or checker and all these others, these are procedural maps or procedural texture. So these are images that will be generated inside Blender, and you can also modify them, edit them, and manage them inside Blender. You don't need to go outside like in Photoshop or GIMP. Everything you can do it in here. So if I click on brick texture, it's gonna create a new texture. And to see this correctly, we need to go here on the top so you can see the bricks, and all the other phases are like projecting those bricks and they are distorting the texture. So probably this is not a good mapping for our material. How do we fix this? Now we introduced in another video the node wrangler. So you go to edit, preferences, go to add-ons, search for node, and find the node wrangler and activate this node right here, because this is really useful. I'm gonna show you why. So if I close this, to create a quick mapping out of this, I can select this texture right here. Go to the right of the panel, search for the node wrangler tab, and then just click here on add texture setup. And there you go, you have a quick texture setup. Now the only problem here is that we probably want something better than this. And since the cube has its own UV, I can click here on UV, click and drag, and substitute this in the vector input. So now you can see that the bricks are visualized correctly in all directions. Now we can also rotate the bricks using the rotation here on the Z. So we can press 90 degrees, and this is going to visualize the bricks correctly on this horizontal side. And you can also change the scale from here, and you can change the location, so the offset. You can offset this map. And you also have something similar here. So you have the offset, so you can see now it's offsetting the line of the brick. So depending on how you want to do these bricks. And then you have here the squash, and you can change the frequency. So you have a bunch of parameters. So every time you create a procedural map, the good thing is that you have a lot of parameters to play with. And again, you don't need to go in outside in Photoshop or other. You just edit everything in here. And then you can change the color. So you can make like this, different colors. Then you have scale, and you have mortar size and mortar color. So you can really customize this as you want. And then other stuff here to change the aspect. And everything stays here. Now, if you want, you can also use other nodes for the color. So perhaps you want to create a new texture. Also go here, add texture, and let's do a noise texture, for example. And let's use this color inside color 1. So instead of using a simple color, I'm using another procedural map. So I can create procedural maps inside other procedural maps inside others to make things more and more complex. Again, this is just a rough, demonstration. You can play a lot with this stuff. So let's say that I want to do something different here. I can add another node here. So you have here the add. So let's try with, well, you can see how many you have. I want to go with a color and inverts. So if I place this here and I invert the color first, and then I place it inside color 2, then I have the same noise, but with the inverted color. So let's see here. Okay, and we can work a little bit with the bias. So it's just a matter of playing around, and perhaps this is not the best thing. So I like this better. So I can Control-C, Control-V, create another one, and separate the two completely. So there you go. Well, it's the same noise essentially, but we can change this with another color node. So let's try like with the hue saturation to make things a little bit different here in the second color. And we need to wait sometimes that it calculates. Okay, well, it doesn't variate more. Well, there you go, something different, but you get the idea. So now we can continue here. Let's try with something else. Just gonna disconnect the brick texture, or just create a new one. If I select this and go here again, I can change this to another. Let's try Voronoi, for example, which is another interesting one. Now it got rid of everything else, but that's fine. And you can see this is pretty fun. And we have then other types of Voronoi, so you can play around and just experiment with the various procedural texture that you have, and eventually you will find some really interesting effects. I'm gonna just show you a last one, and then you can go and play yourself. It's just the same exact mechanism. So we can try it like with the wave. Okay, and you can see now I can scale this, I can distort, create these waves, and distort even more and create some noise. So you can really play a lot with this. Now another thing you can do, now we played with the, and also here you have rings, bands. Now the base color is not the only channel. So you can use this, for example, for metallic, and tell the object where it's more metallic and less metallic. The black means less, the white means more. And you can use it for specular to tell the material where it's more reflective and where it's less reflective. And then roughness, which is the opposite situation of the specularity. So you can use this for many different purposes. Also here in emission, if you want to create an emissive material. And that's it. So just play around, and again, if you want to know more, check the video courses and the other guides about Blender and other 3D software and rendering. This will be all for this video guide. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to thank us, if you want to support us, join the channel as a supporter. Thanks again and see you in the next video.